Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Jack with Stronghold Strength and Conditioning. And today, I'm showing you my top 3 ankle mobility exercises. But before we get into it, make sure you take a moment and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future content like this. Every Thursday, I'm putting out videos showing you how to resolve the aches and pains, prevent injuries, and overall optimize your performance inside the gym and outside of it. Jump on it. Ready? Let's get into this one. Guys, the topic of the day is ankle mobility. Now this could be ankle mobility for your squat, ankle mobility for your deadlift, it could be ankle mobility for your lunges. Really, if we don't have a good connection to the ground through our foot and ankle, then we are pretty much going to be leaking force, whatever the exercise, even if it is an upper body exercise such as a row. So we need to have the ankle mobility to connect to the floor well to make sure that we can do the other mechanics upstream above that. And today I'm showing you my favorite ones with beginner to advanced methods that you can use and different tools that you might be able to use. But essentially they are all working the same thing: ankle dorsiflexion, ankle plantar flexion, and then pronation and supination of the ankle so that you have good control of those and can make the most of each lift. If you guys want to improve your overall mobility, the foot and ankle is a great place to start, but you could also sign up for the 7-day mobility training challenge, which is linked down below in the description here. It's 7 days of 15-minute sessions, no equipment necessary, pre-programmed out mobility for you, and it will guide you through a systematic approach to mobility. So it teaches you a little bit as you go as to why we would want to go about addressing a joint first and then worry about the soft tissue second. And it teaches you a systematic order that we want to approach in mobility. So take advantage of that. It is completely free and you can sign up below in the description here. Now without further ado, let's jump into my top 3 favorite ankle mobility exercises. Alright guys, we're actually going to start with ankle pronation and ankle supination. As you can see, I have my opposite foot interlaced with the fingers of my opposite hand, and I'm in a figure 4 here. What I'm doing is an ankle pry to help restore the rotation of my foot as well as that pronation and supination of the ankle itself. So here we're working on both foot mobility and ankle mobility. Everybody always talks about ankle dorsiflexion first. Here we need to be able to actually contact the floor with an active foot. Now all I'm doing here is adding voodoo floss or mobility floss to the exercise to provide a little further self-myofascial release technique to the actual exercise here. So this is a way that we can actually amplify the work that we're doing and help kind of get past any soft tissue sticking points in this ankle mobility right here. Next, we're actually going to look at ankle plantar flexion. It's one thing to be able to have the dorsiflexion in the bottom of the squat, but we need to be able to get to the bottom of the squat first. And the very start of a squat is a hinge. So this will help our deadlift, this will help your squat, this will help if you are a runner, this will help if you are a swimmer. Simply sitting butt to heels here with the ankles in that plantar flex position. Now I always do one extra here, so this is a little bonus for you. I'll tuck my toes under to help restore great toe extension or just toe extension in general here. But that ability to actually bend those toes and full extension there passively and keep that range of motion. So plantar flexion allows us to actually get to the bottom of the squat, or it is our push off on our run. And it is a lot of things that we do in our daily activity, but we tend to neglect that one. Now this is a more advanced version of our plantar flexion where we look at the hip in extension as well. So if you're a runner or you're just doing walking for, hiking, anything like that, we want to make sure that we have full hip extension while the ankle is in plantar flexion as well here. So this is the couch stretch, a very challenging one, and a lot of you will find your quads are very tight here. Now once again, I'm adding voodoo floss to this to provide self-myofascial release benefits around the foot and ankle there. So this will actually allow me to increase range of motion pretty much immediately if I do not have that range of motion. Another thing you can do if this is intense enough without the voodoo floss to begin with is to simply put a pillow between your hamstrings and your calves and begin that way. So if this is too much pressure on you in the beginning, what you need to do is add a pillow in there and work up to it. Gradually take that pillow out and see how low we can get that butt toward the floor in between the feet in both of these positions here, with the toes extending and with the ankle in plantar flexion here. With the couch stretch, if you need, the very first starting position, even if you can't get vertical right away, and that is likely for a lot of us, is to keep the hands on the floor. The second position is to prop the hands up on a yoga block, or if you can just get up to the knee, that's a great place to go midway. Level 3 here is this vertical position. It is one of my favorites because it shows us where we are out of balance in the pelvis, and those glutes are able to fully activate and restore that hip extension here. All right, and my last one, ankle dorsiflexion here. This is just an ankle pry. So I'm using a bench here to first of all pull myself into a deep position of the knees over the toes with 3 points of contact from that foot. First metatarsal, fifth metatarsal, and heel. So I'm trying to apply as much pressure down as I can here and help get myself into that deep ankle dorsiflexion here. And I know this is the one that a lot of you have been probably waiting for because we know how important ankle mobility is for that deep squat positioning, and with good reason. So this is our first variety here in most basic version. I like to add a little variety to it where I can actually push my hip into external rotation and once again work that pronation of the ankle while I'm in a position that mimics half of a deep squat. So here is what I'm doing. I'm pushing that knee open, I'm rotating toward the leg, but I'm still trying to keep those 3 points of contact from my foot, and I will grease and groove that movement a little bit in that hip external rotation. Now, to take this next step further is add some external weight. So we can apply great pressure here with the weight itself. Well, first of all, we can use our arms to pull ourselves in, but when we have external load, it usually will take us a little bit farther than what we would get by just pulling in. So this is a 45-pound kettlebell here that I'm resting on my knee, and I'm letting myself sink in. I'm trying to keep my knee in line with the middle or smallest toes in this, by the way. So we want to make sure that that knee points down the middle or just out to the side of that middle toe. Now, here we get into some banded distraction work, and if you've seen my squat videos before, you've seen this one before. We're working at pulling the talus into a good position so that the ankle actually articulates better between the talus and the tibia and the fibula there. So we're working at restoring the actual gliding and function of that joint, and honestly, if you want to just skip right to this one, by all means, go right to this one. This is a great place to begin because we can get partially deep when we pull ourselves and we load ourselves in a position, but if the joint is compressed upon itself, we're always going to have issues with the soft tissues that surround. So we want to make sure that we address the joint first and then go from there. Now, the last of the variations here is simply adding that weight, that external load, to the banded distraction with the foot elevated so that we're pulling that talus in the right direction here, really creating space at the ankle in that deep flexion of the knee and the hip here. And those are our 3, my friends. And there you guys have it. Those are my top 3 favorite ankle mobility exercises that will have you guys moving smoothly as possible. Remember, our mobility is all about that connection to the ground as well as our ability to control our core. So we need to have this ankle mobility, that foot mobility, to be able to transfer the force well from the floor through our movement, making sure that we're not leaking or putting force elsewhere on joints that don't need to be taking that force. If you guys like this video, make sure you let me know by clicking that big thumbs up down below, and take a moment to share this one with a friend. Ankle mobility is so commonly needed these days, it is kind of sickening. And a lot of it has to do with the footwear that we wear, but that's a story for another day. So share it with a friend, because you know they need ankle mobility and you'll be doing them a favor. If you guys have not already, make sure you take a moment and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future content like this. Every Thursday, we're putting out videos showing you how to resolve the aches and pains, prevent the injuries, and overall optimize your performance. And it really doesn't get much cooler than that. Welcome to the Stronghold Army. I'll see you guys next week.